Finally, the day has arrived where I can share with the world and you my new finding in reflexology. This finding has influenced my thinking in a very big way, and I'd love to influence you in the same way. My research has influenced my understanding of how disease forms and how quickly disease can heal. My passion for disease was formed through having brain swelling for 46 years and diagnosed with 3 autoimmune diseases. The brain swelling left me with excruciating pain, and I started vomiting every time, and I would vomit until I was landed in hospital with lots of drips and injections and dehydrated. The doctors treated me for migraines, which it wasn't. A dentist later found that I had the TEAM joint pushing into the brain, and that caused the brain swelling. And these attacks happened how many times in a month? Up to 18 times a month. And that is severe depression it leaves a person with. And nobody could help me. And then also I was diagnosed with the 3 autoimmune diseases in 2003. And they said that it was incurable and that it was genetic and that I would have to use chemotherapy and a myriad of drugs like cilastapirin and cortisone, and that it would never heal, and that was the only option. But I had learned about ancient healing laws already, and when I realized that this was my condition, I started to devise a plan for myself based on what I had studied all the years, and thank goodness that worked like a bomb, but it changed my perception forever, because within 4 months I had total range of motion in my joints of my knees and my wrists and my elbows, shoulders, my spine, which I had lost that range of motion. I was stiff and I had such pain, but within 4 months that was cleared up, and that was in 2003. So years later, more than 10 years later, I had x-rays taken because I was feeling good. So I had x-rays taken of all these joints that was so affected with rheumatoid arthritis. Actually, the 3 autoimmune diseases was Reuter's, rheumatoid arthritis, and ankylosing spondylitis, and they all affect the muscle, which is the connective tissue, and the joints in the body. So that was all cleared up. So 10 years later, I actually had x-rays taken, and it showed nothing, no disease. It was as if I was born the day before with perfection in those joints. Now remember, with reflexology, we do repetitive, I do very firm reflexology. So it really is going in there, and so you normally we expect it to show after so many years. So up till this day, it hasn't shown at all. Now, for a diagnosed genetic autoimmune sufferer, that is impossible. So it just shows that the principles work when applied correctly. But that changed my idea about autoimmune disease and how disease forms and the time frames for disease to heal completely. And I've had lots of success with other autoimmune sufferers because of my own experience and because of the radical change that one can effect in somebody's body. So in the end, it worked out very good for me because it led me on an awesome path. But I studied one modality after the other in this quest to save myself, because, you know, when you have brain swelling, it feels like you're dying, because when I had these brain swelling attacks that they called migraines, I was not able to speak anymore. I was not able to function. I would think about an answer when I was asked a question, and I'd think for 10 minutes and I wouldn't be able to answer them. And that was quite a big worry for myself at that stage. The pain and despair that I had for 46 years was a great help to cause me to feel such compassion and understanding and empathy for diseased people. And also, in a way, for the reflexologist that has to help people, because they're all there for the same kind of reason. They care for people. And it's awesome to dissolve disease. There is no better thing in the world for me. Not all people live for the same reason, but I live for that reason. The discovery I made is based on my studies in iridology. I worked on my finding for 5 years, creating charts of what I found, and I tested it for the 5 years until I was sure that it was correct, over and over on several patients, hundreds of patients over the 5 years. After the charts were done and I was happy with them, I spent the next 3 years working with the outcome of that research. And I applied that research to everything I learned in the 30 years. And that changed my idea about what is the pathway that a person takes to form their disease, very important. And I mean, if you're working with autoimmune, you want to know what factors underlie that, and that changed my thinking. And I realized that one must understand the pathway and all the disease factors underlying a disease. 2.5 years ago, I started writing my book, Barefoot Secrets, and that was a request for many years of hundreds of patients asking me, write a book telling us this information. And so when I had this new finding, I coupled that with all the ancient wisdom that I was taught over the years of natural laws pertaining to health, and I included all of my understanding of how we should live, how to create good habits, how to live in a healthy way, because there's lots of information out there and not all of it is correct. And there is a way of testing for correctness, which I'll also teach, which you also learn in this course. And so you know what is correct and what is not correct with kinesiology testing, because that is how I know that I can safely teach you these principles, because 100 people can go and test it, 1,000 people can go and test it, and it is correct. After Barefoot Secrets was launched, I realized that I had to share this information with my fellow reflexologists so that they too can know how to dissolve underlying disease patterns with speed. Your practice will forever be changed by taking this course, because you will never look at disease in the same way again. Once you apply what you've learned from this masterclass, word will spread about your effectiveness in understanding disease and dissolving disease and the speed with which you do it, and that would be the only advertisement you will ever need. To sign up for my masterclass, please go to behealed.co.za and you would find all the details you need there. I cannot wait for us to work together. So, thank you very much.